The referee tonight, by the way, is Felix Schweier. It's the German keeping the peace between the French and the English, and the captains, Marquinhos and Martin Odegaard. In time. PSG boasts one of the most talented teams in the competition, but there's pressure on them tonight. This trophy is their holy grail, and their players need to deliver tonight. Declan Rice says that Arsenal have no fear, and in Madrid they found big performances and heroes all over the pitch, and tonight they
Yes, indeed, what a night in Park them Princes. Arsenal, they came, they saw, but they could not conquer. But we will still get to that this morning. But the good news, we will start from the home front because they say charity begins at home. We'll start with the Nigerian Flying Eagles, where they've qualified for the quarterfinals of the Under-20 African Cup of Nations going on in Egypt. All right, yesterday it was a 2-2 draw. I have with me on the show this morning Abba Michael. Let me call the three names in full. Abba Michael Idoko. He's joining us all the way from VOM, Plateau State. That is, if you know VOM, if you know Plateau State very well, he's joining us from there. He's a sports enthusiast and analyst, a man who also he was also a sports personnel, but somehow decided to choose other feed. But he did his own when it comes to the tracks. Michael, welcome to Citizen Sports 93.7 FM Abuja.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was truly a sporting evening.
Truly a sporting evening. We will get to what happened to I know you support us now, but we will get there. Let's begin from the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. It was 2-2 draw against Kenya at the end of the regulation time in their third game in Group B at the ongoing Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. With that draw, they finished second with 5 points on the table behind table toppers Morocco. But the thing is, we've qualified for the quarterfinals.
Yes, and I think that's the most important thing is the fact that we've been able to qualify. We mustn't qualify as the top seed. The disadvantage is that winner A meets up with runner B. So perhaps the quarterfinals may meet a much stronger opponent. Nevertheless, we need to learn from Morocco dominating on every side. I mean, when you talk about the senior African teams, Morocco are right up there. And then at the under-20, they are right there. As a matter of fact, when it comes to CAF awards, I mean, it's always in Morocco. Morocco is looking more like the football capital of Africa. And I think going forward, where regardless of the outcome, we need to really, really study the standard operating procedures, or should I say the mechanism of action or modus operandi that this Moroccan team from top to bottom are adopting. But for now, it's a good one for the Flying Eagles, and I believe that we have given ourselves a chance. We've never really disappointed at the cadet level. It's always when it comes to translating to the senior nationals, that's always where we have challenge. But at this level,
Okay, we lost Mike there. When he's ready, will be joining us. And according to the coach of the Flying Eagles, head coach Aliu Zubero, he says he has expressed his satisfaction with the outcome of the game against the Young Stars of Kenya, the 7-time African champions. That is Nigeria held the Rising Stars to a 2-2 draw in their final Group B game at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations played in Cairo yesterday, Wednesday. Nigeria seeded a place in the quarterfinal after securing second spot in the group with 5 points from 3 games. Morocco occupied the top spot with 7 points from same number of matches played. Zubero confessed the Rising Stars of Kenya make things difficult for his team. In his words, he said it was not an easy match. The Kenyans have played 2 games previously which they lost. They came all out. so that they don't leave the competition without getting a win. That is why the game was difficult. All the same, it was good game. Okay, we're having... all right, we have Michael joining us back. All right, Michael, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, like I said, we don't really have challenges when it comes to the cadets football as far as the boarding process and formative process is concerned. We always deliver, at least no matter what, get to the semis, get to the finals, win it all. I mean, historically, we've had a good track record when it comes to the cadet level, and this comes to me as no surprise, but I continue to say it on different platforms. We need to translate it to the senior nationals. I think that's where we always have a challenge when it comes to the transition, but so far so good. We need to give the boys a pat on the back.
Okay, we need to give the boys the pat on the back. Now, we in the group we scored just 3 goals in the group. 1 against our opening game against Tunisia, and then 2 against Kenya, which we considered 2 and scored 3 with plus one goal and 5 points. Don't you think this is a thing of worry going into the quarterfinals?
Yeah, generally we've always had this issue of having a...
Oh, okay. The network is trying to be funny somehow this morning, and I believe we will sort that out as soon as possible, that we can get Michael back, and we'll continue with Michael. All right. Like I said, coach, he said it was not an easy match with the Kenyans. Haven't played 2 games previously. They lost both games. They came all out, and that was a difficult one for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. I said all the same, it was a good game. The Gaffer in a post-match conference, he said, I want to correct an impression. Of course, many Nigerians will be disappointed with the result because of the opposition, but what is important for us is to get to the next stage, which is the quarterfinal. Indeed, getting to the next stage is very important, but somehow you still have to put all your arsenals together to get a good result. All right, we have Michael joining us back. All right, Michael, continue.
Yes, we've always had this problem of average strikers, and even when we try to get strikers from the league, I mean, we end up with the same challenge, and it boils down to one perpetual challenge we've had, which is the midfield. I mean, our midfield of late at all levels have not been able to sync with the strike force. We have been having midfield deficiency. At the senior level, we have a few good players, but we've not been able to replace a player like Mikel Obi and perhaps JJ Okocha. And I think that's the same challenge we're having in the under 20 level. The midfielders and the strikers are not syncing properly. So when that challenge erupts, it's always going to affect the number of goal output. And I think that is one cancer that needs to be fixed. Our ability, to get goals. We've been having profligacy in front of goals, and that is an emergency that requires immediate attention.
Okay, that's an emergency that requires immediate attention. All right, going forward, what are your expectations going forward for the Flying Eagles?
Yeah, for the Flying Eagles, I think so far so good. The structure, the foundation looks good. If the foundation is not faulty, then the takeoff will be bad. But I think the foundation is okay. But we just need to put the right structures in place so that we can get to the lintel level when trying to build, especially a junior national team. But so far, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. But we have a lot of work to do, and I think our scouts also need to do a little more. We have more academies now, more football academies within the nation. I think they need to expand their coverage because I believe we have lots and lots of players that can deliver the goods for Nigeria at the 20 level.
Okay, at the under 20 level. All right, let's see what happens in the quarterfinals of the under 20 African Cup of Nations. Mike, all right, let's quickly switch up. Still talking football. Now we'll talk about the women's football, where Osigwe Goodness scored the only goal from the penalty spot as Edo Queens beat Unification FC 1-0 in Lagos at the Dikbo Dino Stadium in Ijebu-Ode State on Wednesday to advance to the semi-finals of the President Federations Cup for the women. Edo Queens, Rivers Angels, Ibom Angels, and Nasarawa Amazons all through to the semi-finals of the women's version.
Yes, I mean, when you hear the name Edo Queens, Rivers Angels, these names reverberate along the mainstream media every footballing season, especially when we're coming to the cusp of every footballing tournament. Those are teams that have the right structures. Those are teams that know how to rebuild. I mean, even when players exit at the end of different seasons, you see a few teams know how to repackage and assemble stars that can deliver the goods. And Edo Queens and perhaps Rivers Angels are two of the names that you continue to hear every now and then. There's hardly a dip in form. They are always the most reliable when it comes to, women's football. And I believe that they are being able to set the bar high, for all the female football teams in Nigeria.
Okay, they've been able to set the bar high for the female teams in Nigeria. Let's switch back to Europe, and when we come back, we'll take Michael on the Champions League game played last night. All of the happenings in the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal fans, sorry. All right, welcome back from that breather. Michael, indeed, last night was another night that Arsenal fans never wished it happened. 5 years, okay, let's not go into that first. Both legs, first leg, they lost at home, and PSG has shown their supremacy in both legs of the UEFA Champions League semi-final game.
Yeah, it's a sad one for Arsenal. At the group stages, Arsenal were able to defeat Paris Saint-Germain, but when it comes to when it mattered most, which is the semi-finals, Arsenal packed her bag and baggages from the Parc des Princes. It was a bad one. The team never really synced. In the first half, the first 15 minutes, it was fire and brimstone, baptism of fire. It was as if Arsenal wanted to pull the stadium down. But when you don't have a striker, like we continue to sing to the Arsenal management, to Arteta, we've been saying this in the last 3 years, runner-up in the Premier League shows one thing is missing, which is a world-class striker. And as long as they don't fix that world-class striker issues, they will continue to play second fiddle when the tussle matters most. And we just saw, an Arsenal side that got demoralized after the first leg. Many pundits assumed it was the absence of Partey, and then here comes Partey, and Partey was not able to bring, the party, or he couldn't bring Rice to the party, and Rice on the shadow of what we saw against Real Madrid. We saw him sink two
world-class free kick
potentials, and then when we got to PSG, it seems like PSG had answers for every offensive attack that Arsenal threw at them. It's like they had read Arsenal's script and studied Arsenal against Real Madrid and tried to cover all the loopholes that Real Madrid left open that allowed Arsenal to penetrate. I think they did a lot of tactical discipline, because if you look at PSG, they never allowed Arsenal to be comfortable with the ball at any point in time. And then lackluster defense. Look at that second goal. You don't expect, that from a world-class defense. When you have a player like Saliba, I think Partey also fluffed his lines, and that was how that second goal came. it was too cheap a goal to allow. I think that also affected Arsenal. And then the finishing has been poor. But in the first leg, let's be honest, the referee wasn't so nice, turning down to penalty opportunities. I mean, even Infantino had to comment that the referee, the suspect officiating, and it is what it is. Arsenal is out. We are looking out as an Arsenal fan.
Well, you can follow us. You can follow this conversation. Just go straight to our YouTube page, Citizen FM on YouTube page, and follow us live while we look at what happened to Arsenal last night and other stories on Citizen Sports from 93.7 FM with me, Emmanuel Fashimi, and Michael is still with us. But Michael, let's look at it. Every season after the Saudi big boys came over, took over PSG, and we also saw that transition in Manchester City, and it has always been speculated that season in, season out, that it's time for PSG to win the Champions League or for Manchester City. And eventually in 2023, Manchester City broke that jinx, and they won the Champions League against the same Inter Milan that is through to the final right now. Now, for PSG, this is another season again that everybody is saying it's their time. Do you think Luis Enrique haven't done that with Barcelona? Do you think it's not time for PSG at least to lift that coveted trophy?
Yes, definitely. I mean, let's be honest. The team looks better without Mbappe. Last year, they got close. They always come close, get to semis, and then somehow, even when you expect them to win it, especially when Mbappe was there, they couldn't get it done. Last season also, they looked like, okay, this is going to be the year, and then suddenly they came capitulating. But this season, I think they're doing something they've not done in any of the previous potential seasons they've had in the past. We are seeing a more disciplined defense. I mean, PSG is one team that don't concede goals anyhow. I must confess, they probably have.
Okay, Michael, you have to hold your thought there while we go for this breather, and we will be right back.
This is our journey. We've had our finest moments and our darkest hours. Yet we pull ourselves back from the brink every time. We are a resilient people. We are Nigeria. And when we talk, we share our views on Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. A people united will never be defeated.
Yes, welcome back to the program Citizen Sports, reaching you from 93.7 FM, and I'm still with Michael on the show. Okay, Michael, back to Arsenal. If we look at Arsenal, ever since Mikel Arteta came in, for 5 years now, no trophy for the last 5 years, which you already know it's now becoming a 18 of worry. But is it that they should give Arsenal management should give Arteta more time, or what is the possible solution for Arsenal?
Yeah, time is money, but I believe Arteta has learned, the rudiments of winning already, working under the best, talking about Pep Guardiola. He really, truly learned from the best, because I'm not sure if his master Pep will be able to do what he's doing or what he has done with this Arsenal side. To me, it's an average team compared to, what Man City have been parading in the last couple of years. Arteta is an excellent coach. He just needs the right players. If imagine we had a Victor Osimhen. Imagine we have a Lautaro Martinez on this team. Or perhaps a Harry Kane. I can guarantee you that the story would have been different. When you have such players as a striker, Saka would definitely won't be wasting all those pull-outs that he was delivering yesterday, because the players we have right now, they are nothing to write home about, especially when it comes to, the forward line. Trossard can be kept. Mourinho was virtually asleep. I mean, we need a solid striker. Mourinho is actually a midfielder. I mean, he was just playing like as a false nine, and it's obviously, I mean, not working, especially when it comes to the semi-finals of the Champions League. As at that time, your team is expected to have a solid squad, and the team must have great chemistry. That is actually lacking because we don't have an out-and-out striker. And so I think if they can allow him go shopping for a good striker, a good price, I believe that the fortunes of Arsenal will change if we have strikers.
Okay, the fortune of Arsenal will change if you have strikers. Now, in the last 6 games thereabout for Arsenal, they've not really just one win in the last 6 games.
Yes, it's really bad. I actually saw this loss coming over the weekend. I mean, playing against Bournemouth 1-1, and then suddenly, I mean, they lost the game. And then even the previous games leading to that game, Arsenal, as a matter of fact, I don't even have assurance if Arsenal can finish second. So far with 67 points, 3 games to go. I mean, Man City is right there. I think with 64 points. Newcastle, had it been they even won, they would have been on 65 points. And then Chelsea looking like they are in the best form of their lives, even though it's too late. The season is perhaps a done deal for them. So right now, it doesn't look too good for Arsenal. They've been losing, and perhaps there needs to be a psychological evaluation of the players, because they are not playing like players who are on a mission. And I think they may need to evaluate them psychologically. Perhaps something is not right in the dressing room, because this persistent lackluster we are seeing, I mean, disappointing the fans of North London back to back. It's not good at all. Since after the Real Madrid victory, it's like everything went downhill, and we're progressing without even a full stop or a comma. So it's really, really bad right now. Arsenal needs perhaps an overhaul. I know several players are leaving, about 6 or 7 at the end of the season. Maybe not first team players. And then perhaps the absence of Gabriel is already rearing his ugly head. Kiwo did a great job early on, but at the moment, I don't really understand the defense anymore. I mean, what looked like the best defense at the beginning of the season when we defeated PSG, that we can no longer boast of such defense. And we see Raya every now and then is coming out to sync with the defense. It's as if they needed Raya to even build from the back, I mean, to the middle to forward. So the 4-3-3 doesn't look too good for Arsenal currently. I don't know why. Perhaps the injuries to a few key players. Perhaps if Kai Havertz were around, maybe the story would have been different.
Okay, maybe the story would have been different, but last night the story went the way of PSG, who have made it to the finals coming up in Munich between Inter Milan and PSG. Yes, indeed, that game will be played in Munich. All right, for PSG, we have a lot of sports pundits. I don't know if you agree with that. That the three of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and Neymar was their biggest undoing or biggest mistake or whatever. But the 3 guys are no longer there. They were in the final in 2020. They lost to Bayern Munich in that final, and they've made 2 semi-final after they're now into the final. Do you think those 3 guys were really their own doing that they couldn't get this? They actually. They've been chasing this trophy since the Saudi big boys took over.
Yes, I want to actually agree with them. We are seeing something similar play out in Real Madrid right now. I mean, Vini,
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo. I mean, they are really not sinking the way we expected. I mean, with the coming of Mbappe in his debut season, we expected more. They started well, led the table virtually for the first half of the season, into the second half of the season, and then suddenly the chemistry started dying. Vinicius became a complainer. I mean, the players were no longer harmonizing as they started in the beginning of the season. So I believe it's the same challenge, having Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, three superpowers on one team. It makes the other players look too average, and it seems like everything revolved around the three players. It was like using too much Maggi when cooking a soup. I think that was the problem PSG had. And they couldn't play as a team because it was more like the expectations from individual brilliance from superstars. But right now, this is the type of team they have always wanted. And perhaps I'm even tipping PSG to win it all because I think they have the discipline. We know that Inter have good offense, but I think this PSG team are hard not to crack. It's definitely going to be difficult. And for the fact that Inter lost in 2023, 2 seasons ago to Man City, this Inter team looks better than the one we saw against Man City 2 years ago. It's going to be a wide tussle, but I see a 1-0 victory on either side. And PSG has a disciplined defense and perhaps the best goalkeeper in Europe to be able to, keep them at bay. To be honest with you, if not for PSG's goalkeeper, I think Arsenal would have been in the final.
Okay, you think Arsenal would have been in the final, but it is what it is. Right now, Arsenal are back to Emirates, where they will face Liverpool in this weekend in the English Premier Football League. That game will be played on Sunday, which is 18th of February. For the first time this season, Arsenal is gracing back-to-back losses. They lost to Bournemouth last weekend, and now they've been beaten by PSG. Again, back-to-back losses for the first time this season. But let's see how it goes. Let's now leave Europe and come back home quickly. Michael, let's switch to the Nigerian Premier Football League, where the games were played yesterday. Let's quickly give you the full result of those games, and we'll look at the Nigerian Premier Football League as we are gradually winding down in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We know that Remo Stars are already champion, but games played yesterday, we saw Academy Warriors beating Remo Stars 2-0 at their stadium in Maiduguri. Lobby Stars at their adopted home ground in Enugu lost to Nasarawa United 2-1, their neighbors. It was a middle bed derby. Bendel Insurance pipped Aqua United 1-0 at the Samuel Ogbemida Stadium as Enyimba Faba beat Kwara United 2-0. Heartland FC of Owerri recorded the same scoreline against Plateau United at the Dan Ayam Stadium in Owerri. Heartland beating Plateau United 2-0. Michael, your Plateau Arsenal lost. Plateau is losing. Lost also yesterday. But Katsina United beat Kano Pillars 1-0 in a Northern Affairs, where Niger Tornadoes and Abia Warriors shared the spoils 1-1. Rivers United beat Enugu Rangers 1-0 at their Dokia Masimaka Stadium in Port Harcourt. Shooting Stars beat Sunshine Stars of Akure 1-0 in a Southwest Derby, where Ikorodu City recorded a 3-2 win, a hard-fought 3-2 win over Bayelsa United at the Onikon Stadium in Lagos. But the thing of worry for the place where the momentum is right now in the Nigerian Premier Football League, Michael, is the battle for the continental slot. We know that Remo Stars have already qualified. They've picked the title and automatic qualification for CAF Champions League next season. But the second and the third spot, fourth spot, is actually where the battle is. Rivers United have 61 points. They will follow Remo Stars to qualify for the CAF Champions League. Let's assume the league ends like this today. We have 2 matches to go. They have 61.7 goal difference. Following them is Abia Warriors, who will play in the CAF Confederations Cup with 57 points and 3 goal difference. Ikorodu City, having beaten Bayelsa United, now have 56 points, just 1 point behind Abia Warriors, and 2 matches to go to the end of the season.
Yes, I mean, it's quite dicey. Ikorodu City, since they came into the league, I mean, they have been in the thorn of the flesh of all the Premier League top dogs, and they have, I mean, stirred waters. They've been able to shake tables, and right now, every team at the sound of the name Ikorodu City, I mean, there's always quiver and shiver. That's the situation in the Nigerian Professional Football League. I think Rivers have done their best, and I think they are good to go. I see them, of course, finishing just the way they are in second place. And then for the other teams, for Abia Warriors, well, let's watch and see. You know, it's at the end, the game is full of surprises. I didn't expect Heartland to, I mean, just outrightly annihilate Plateau United. You said my Arsenal lost, my Plateau United lost. That's not all. Al Nazer also lost. So it's a triple blow for me. I mean, it was a horrible night, and I refused to shower because I didn't enjoy any of the results coming from my teams, and I think I have to lick my wounds and move on.
Okay.
For Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he needs to move on. But for the MPFL, I think it will go down to the wire. It all has to be decided on the final day. I know it's 2 games to go, but I see it being decided. I mean, those last spots for the Continental ticket being decided on the very, very last day.
Okay, and now let's look at the relegation side quickly, Michael. Niger Tornadoes are in there with 45 points and minus 8 goal difference. Aqua United are 18th with minus 5 goal difference and 41 points. We have Sunshine Stars of Akure with minus 15 goal difference and 41 points. Lobby Stars, your state team now, because already relegated, Michael. Wow, football this season is not favoring you at all. But the thing is, we have the likes of Nasara United who have 46 points. Academy Warriors have 46 points. We have Heartland FC of Uweri having, after winning that game, have 45 points. And from Katsina United on the 13th position with 47 points and minus 3 goal difference, down to the 20th position. With these 2 matches, it might just change fortunes of some teams.
Maybe not. I mean, from the outcome of what we saw, Lobby Nasarawa, it shows you that anything can still happen. I mean, Lobby never expected to lose at home, and they did. So, at least in the MPFL, we must give Ogunbodede, Elegbele credit for so far so good. We are seeing fairness in the officiating. Any team can pick a point away. You can even pick all 3 points away, as we saw between, Lobby and Nasarawa last night. So it still boils down to, the efforts the teams make in order to finish well. But you and I know that if there's any league where you don't want to go for relegation is the NPFL, because it seems like coming out from relegation is like coming out of a well when you are being thrown into a well. So I know teams who sank to relegation and then coming back has been a problem for them. So no team will want to sink. So at this point, the teams that are on the brink of sinking will definitely ensure that they do all they can to remain in the top flight. It's a big achievement to finish a season and remain in the top flight. It mustn't really be until you win the trophy, and that's the situation of Plateau United right now.
Okay.
Perhaps changes.
Okay, indeed, the relegation battle keeps heating up. Sunshine Stars and Aqua United looking to escape relegation. All right, Michael, you if we look at it quickly, just before I let you go, for Remo Stars, this is their 3rd year in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and they are champions.
Yeah, it's well deserved. We saw it coming. I think runner up, and then winners. Like we said, that's the most executive team as far as MPFL is concerned. That's the only team you play for and feel like you are playing in Europe. I mean, that's the only team where players are treated as VIPs. That's the only team where players travel by air. They don't suffer 12 hours, 18 hours journey. So other teams should learn. I mean, other state governments need to sink finances of more monies into the affairs of the teams. I mean, it should form a bulk of their budget, especially now that allocations have tripled for state governments. So why can't your players take flights? I mean, when you are playing in Ikorodu City, you don't have to drive to Lagos. You need to use flights. I mean, to Lagos, and then when you are coming from Ikorodu, coming to El Kanemi, you need flights. You can't be driving on the road and expect your players. They are humans. I mean, this is what every state government needs to look into. Create allocation for this. The budget, thank God for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government that has increased allocation. Let the state governments, try to devolve finance into sports, into the welfare of the athletes. The welfare is not only salary. You can be paying me $1 million, but if every week I have to travel to Maiduguri, so I have to travel to, Akwa Ibom, it's definitely going to affect my output. So I think, to me, that's what they need to look at. Let not be only Rebel Stars that gives their players a VIP treatment and then get the best out of the player. So I think that's the lesson for other teams.
Okay, that's the lesson for other teams. Congratulations to Remo Stars. All right, Michael, quickly. I know you'll be happy about this, where the New York Knights have produced a stunning comeback to win the second game of their NBA Conference Playoff semi-final against the Boston Celtics. Jalen Brunson made 2 free throws with 12.7 seconds remaining to give the New York a 91-90 lead before Michael Bridges knocked the ball away to deny Boston a last gasp chance. Josh Hart had a game high 23 points for New York, who trailed by 20 points in the third quarter and by 16 in the fourth quarter. In Boston, the Knicks lead the reigning NBA champions 2-0 in the best of 7 series after finishing 10 wins behind their opponents in the regular season. I think it was a very sweet game for the New York Knicks.
Yeah, definitely. None of us saw this coming. I mean, we've always rated the Celtics ahead of the Knicks, and the Knicks are perpetual underperformance. But Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, they've been able to step up. McBride, Michael Bridges. These guys, Jalen Brunson has proven that he just got an award as the best finisher, clutch player in the NBA, and he has proven that truly, he deserved it. And I believe that the game is not over. I believe that Boston Celtics, they were leading 73-53 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Even in game 1, they were leading with 20 points and then capitulated. The problem with Celtics is that they rely too much on shooting 3-pointers from outside. And when you keep shooting, Jaylen Brown is shooting, Jason Tatum is shooting, Peyton Pritchard is shooting, Cornette is shooting. And so everybody is shooting from outside. Even the big man is also shooting from outside. So they missed about 15 or 23s, and then they missed 45 3-pointers in game 1, and then in game 2, in the fourth quarter, they collapsed. So missing 3 points, Jason Tatum, that is virtually the best player on the team, finished with just a paltry 13 points. It shows that the team needs to go back to the drawing board. I expect Coach Joe Mazzulla to give them instructions. If the threes are not falling, don't shoot threes.
Of course.
Why everybody wants to Stephen Curry.
Okay, meanwhile.
Curry.
All right, for Oklahoma City Thunder, they leveled their own semi-final series with a 149-106 home blowout. That was a total whitewash of the Denver Nuggets. After losing on a 3-pointer in the closing seconds of the game, Oklahoma City scored 45 points in the first quarter and tied the NBA playoff record for the most points in a half with 87. MVP favorite Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the game with 34 points before watching the fourth from the bench. For Oklahoma City Thunder, is their own season?
Yes, first and foremost, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my most valuable player. I think the award will be handed out maybe tomorrow or next.
I think tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, yes. MVP will be given tomorrow. The best player in the world is actually on the opposite team, Denver Nuggets. They call him Nikola Jokic. And I believe that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the second best player in the world, and he deserves this MVP. And I tip Oklahoma City Thunder to go all the way. Now that they have two All-Stars, I mean, SGA, and they have Jay Wills. I mean, Caruso is doing very well. Chet Holmgren is playing like he can play.
Okay, we lost Mike there. Let's see what happened in the NBA. Indeed, the program is Citizen Sports as we're gradually winding down on the program this morning. Let's quickly look at some Nigerian story where Anthony Joshua has confirmed plans to return to the ring in December following a period of recovery after undergoing elbow surgery this month. The two-time world heavyweight champion has been out of action since suffering a devastating 50-round knockout against Daniel Dubois at Wembley in September of 2024. Joshua revealed he was prioritizing physical rehabilitation before resuming full training later this year. The procedure is expected to keep him out of the gym for up to 8 weeks, pushing his return to the final month of 2025 and extending his layoff to over a year. Actually had some nice time in Nigeria with while fans had hoped for a long anticipated clash with Tyson Fury. A winter return effectively rules out a stadium fight in the UK and may delay that showdown until 2026 unless it is staged in the Middle East. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn remains hopeful a fight with Fury can still be agreed in future, though Joshua has also hinted at other potential opponents including Martin Bakole, Ajit Kabayel and Deontay Wilder, whose own comeback bout is scheduled for next month, that is June. Transfer story where Nigerian international, that is Bright Osai Samuel, is on the verge of sealing a return to the English Premier Football League, with reports flying in from Turkey indicating that the Crystal Palace have reached a broad agreement to sign the Fenerbahce right back. According to the report, the Eagles have offered the former Queen's Park Ranger defender a 4.5-year deal worth €4 million per season. The Turkish outlet reported that both parties have made significant progress in negotiation with an agreement close to being finalized. And President of the Nigerian Badminton Federation, Francis Obi, has expressed his delight and optimism in the forthcoming para-badminton event set to hold in Abia State in September and October this year. The first of the event, tagged First Abia State Para-Badminton International Championship, will hold from September 30th to October 5th, while the second competition, All Africa Para-Badminton Championship, will take place from October the 6th to October 12th, 2025. Obi revealed his excitement and insisted that both international para-badminton competitions to be staged by the government of Abia State would be a landmark event for the entire nation and for para-badminton players. All right, let's go back to Europe quickly, where we have the second tier of the European club football competition coming up today. Semi-final games also, and in the third tier club competition in Europe, that is the Europa Conference League. For today's game, we have Bodø Glimt at home in Norway versus Tottenham Hotspur. Who the Tottenham Hotspur is leading the first leg 3-1 on aggregate, while Manchester United will be at Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, to welcome Athletic Bilbao of Spain. Manchester United is leading 3-0 from the first leg aggregate score in Spain. And in the Europa Conference League, we have Chelsea at the Bridge hosting Jude Garden in the second leg of the semi-final game in the Europa Conference League. Chelsea is leading 4-1 from the first leg, while in Italy, Fiorentina, who were beaten by Real Betis 2-1 in the first leg, will host Fiorentina will host Real Betis, who is leading the first leg 2-1. So all of these games will be coming up tonight in Europe. For Manchester United, well, let's see what happens after that 4-3 7-goal thriller over the weekend in the English Premier Football League. All right, this is where we'll leave the program this morning, Citizen Sports, and thanks to Albert Michael for joining us on the show all the way from Plateau State, from precisely in Plateau State. Thanks for joining on the show, and to our listener, we say thank you, gracias, for all of your comments on all of our stories. Please do well to drop your comments on the WhatsApp number 0818-2222-205, or you can also drop your comments on our YouTube page. That is Citizen Sports on YouTube. The program returns tomorrow, same time on the station that talks. Thank you. I'm Emmanuel Fashimi.
This is our journey. We've had our finest moments and our darkest hours. Yet we pull ourselves back from the brink every time. We are a resilient people. We are Nigeria. And when we